In an unprecedented move that has sent shockwaves through the global economy, China has dramatically halted the export of essential technologies to the United States, marking a significant escalation in ongoing trade tensions. This video delves into the intricate details of Beijing's strategic decision, analyzing the implications for international trade and the broader geopolitical landscape. What are the deeper ramifications of this bold maneuver, and how might it reshape the economic and political relationships between the world's superpowers? Don't go anywhere as we unravel the complexities behind China's strategy and forecast its enduring effects on global relations. Beijing made an announcement recently regarding the implementation of export restrictions on aerospace equipment, engines, and essential materials used in bulletproof vest production, effective July 1, 2024. According to customs data, these measures are expected to affect approximately $8 billion worth of exports reported in the first 4 months of this year. These new export controls are part of China's broader strategy to oversee the export of critical technologies and materials, particularly those potentially useful for military purposes. Oversight will be conducted by the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, in collaboration with other government bodies, to manage licensing and regulations, ensuring alignment with national security priorities and international commitments. These actions are indicative of China's ongoing efforts to modernize its export control infrastructure, which involves refining licensing procedures, enhancing regulatory frameworks, and strengthening enforcement mechanisms. The objective is to strike a balance between facilitating international trade and imposing rigorous controls on items applicable to military or dual-use scenarios. China's decision comes against a backdrop of escalating geopolitical tensions and reciprocal trade restrictions. For instance, the United States has implemented various export controls aimed at Chinese companies, specifically focusing on semiconductor technology and other advanced technologies critical for military and intelligence purposes. These actions reflect a broader trend where nations are implementing measures to safeguard their technological and national security interests amidst intensifying global competition. Washington has voiced significant apprehensions regarding China's recent announcement, viewing it as a direct response to U.S. export restrictions targeting Chinese technology, particularly in semiconductors. In response, U.S. officials stressed the importance of countering China's advancing technological capabilities, particularly in areas with potential military applications. The Biden administration is poised to strengthen its current measures by tightening restrictions on American technology and investments flowing into China's technology sector. This strategy may involve adding more Chinese firms to the entity list, enforcing the Foreign Direct Product Rule, and restricting collaboration between American personnel and Chinese tech firms. Additionally, ongoing debates in Washington scrutinize the effectiveness and implications of these export controls. Some experts argue that while these measures intend to slow down China's technological progress, they might unintentionally accelerate China's drive towards achieving self-sufficiency in crucial technologies, thereby bolstering its domestic tech industry over time. The broader U.S. strategy includes partnering with allies, notably Japan and the Netherlands, to implement similar export controls. This coordinated approach aims to restrict China's access to advanced technologies and is part of a larger geopolitical strategy to uphold U.S. technological leadership and economic security amid heightened competition from China. In a related move, the Biden administration has unveiled plans to escalate tariffs on a broad array of Chinese goods under Section 301 of the Trade Act, affecting approximately $18 billion worth of imports. These tariffs target strategic sectors, such as steel, aluminum, semiconductors, electric vehicles or EVs, batteries, critical minerals, solar cells, ship-to-shore cranes, and medical products. The tariffs on these items will rise from 7.5% to 25%. Given their critical importance to the U.S. economy, these new tariffs aim to counterbalance China's excess production capacity and subsidies that artificially depress prices of Chinese exports. By 2025, tariffs are set to increase further to 50%. This action is aimed at addressing China's rapid expansion in semiconductor manufacturing, which poses a threat to U.S. market-driven investments. The heightened tariffs are part of a comprehensive strategy under the CHIPS Act, which involves a substantial $53 billion investment in domestic semiconductor manufacturing to bolster the U.S. semiconductor industry. In 2024, tariffs on electric vehicles, EVs, will surge from 25% to 100%, This significant increase is intended to shield U.S. manufacturers from China's substantial subsidies and non-market practices that have fueled a surge in Chinese EV exports. Tariffs on lithium-ion EV batteries and other critical minerals will also increase to 25%, targeting the heavy reliance on segments of the EV battery supply chain controlled by China. These new tariffs complement other policies aimed at boosting domestic production and fortifying supply chain resilience. The U.S. Trade Representative, USTR, has introduced a product exclusion process for machinery used in U.S. manufacturing, enabling companies to seek tariff exemptions for specific imported products. In response to the Biden administration's tariff hikes, China is contemplating substantial retaliatory measures. There are plans to impose retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, particularly targeting imported vehicles equipped with large displacement engines. This retaliation is viewed as a direct response to increased U.S. tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, batteries, and other clean energy products. Beijing has announced intentions to potentially increase tariffs on a range of imported U.S. goods, such as chemicals and other critical materials. This move is aimed at offsetting the economic impact of U.S. tariffs and safeguarding domestic industries from heightened competition. To bolster their sectors, particularly in advanced manufacturing like semiconductors and clean energy, the Chinese government is offering extensive subsidies and support. This backing is designed to boost the global competitiveness of Chinese firms while diminishing dependence on U.S. technology and markets. China has actively fostered trade relations with BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, to counterbalance U.S. tariffs and broaden economic partnerships. Their strategy involves forging new trade agreements and expanding existing collaborations within the BRICS framework, which represents a substantial segment of the global economy. Trade between China and other BRICS nations markedly expanded in early 2024, underscoring deeper economic integration and mutual cooperation. China has concluded multiple bilateral trade pacts with BRICS nations aimed at reducing trade barriers and intensifying economic collaboration. These agreements span diverse sectors such as agriculture, technology, and energy, facilitating smoother and more efficient trade interactions. China is making significant investments in infrastructure across BRICS countries through initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. This involves financing and constructing major projects such as ports, railways, and highways, aimed at enhancing connectivity and trade logistics among BRICS nations. To lessen reliance on the U.S. dollar and mitigate the impact of U.S. financial sanctions, China has engaged in currency swap agreements with BRICS countries. These agreements facilitate the use of local currencies in trade transactions, thereby bolstering financial stability and bilateral trade within the BRICS framework. China is also advancing multilateral initiatives to bolster economic cooperation, notably through the establishment of the New Development Bank, NDB. The NDB finances infrastructure and sustainable development ventures in BRICS and other emerging economies, offering an alternative to Western-dominated financial institutions. This initiative further fortifies economic bonds among BRICS countries and promotes sustainable growth across the region. China and BRICS countries are actively collaborating on technology and innovation, sharing expertise, and jointly investing in research and development projects. This cooperative effort aims to bolster technological capabilities and foster economic growth across all member nations. Through these strategic initiatives, China seeks to establish a more resilient and diversified economic network capable of withstanding external pressures such as U.S. tariffs. Strengthening trade relations with BRICS nations not only mitigates the impacts of trade disputes, but also fosters long-term economic stability and prosperity for all involved countries. How do you think China's decision to halt exports will reshape global trade dynamics? And what impact could this have on your country's economy? We'd love to hear your opinions and insights in the comments below. Join our exploration of these monumental trade shifts by subscribing to our channel. Stay updated with the latest in global trade dynamics and understand the far-reaching impacts of these decisions. Dive into a world where economic strategies and international policies collide.